Did you know there is a gate called the Gate of the Gods? Not a legend, not a story, a real gate, carved from a single block of stone, still standing today in Bolivia. And in 1532, when Spanish soldiers found it, it stopped them cold. Built by a civilization that had already completely vanished. Covered in symbols nobody has ever fully translated. Constructed with a precision that our best engineers today say would be extremely difficult to reproduce. Who built it, and how, nobody knows. That is not a figure of speech. That is the official conclusion of every researcher who has ever studied this place. Nobody knows. The gate is called Puma Punku. It sits at 3,800 meters above sea level in Bolivia, in one of the most remote and difficult places on Earth to reach, where the air is thin, where the temperature drops below freezing at night, where nothing grows easily and nothing is built easily. And yet, someone built something there that should not exist. So before you decide what you think, let me show you. Because the facts alone are enough to make you stop. First, the stone. The blocks at Puma Punku are made of andesite, a rock harder than granite. So hard that even today, with modern diamond-tipped tools, cutting it precisely is difficult and slow. The people who built Puma Punku had no metal tools, no iron, no steel. According to everything we know about that time and that region, they had tools made of stone and bone. And they cut andesite with millimeter precision. Not approximately, not roughly. Millimeter precision. Perfect flat surfaces. Perfect right angles. Shapes that fit together like pieces of a puzzle. Including a shape, cut repeatedly across dozens of blocks, that looks exactly like the letter H. Each H shape fits into the next one perfectly, like they were produced in a modern factory with precision machines. The H shape appears dozens of times across the site, each one identical, each one fitting precisely into the others, which means whoever made them had a system. A repeatable process that produced the exact same result every single time. A standardized industrial process. At a site where no such process should have existed. They were not produced in a factory. They were made by hand. In the middle of the Bolivian highlands. Thousands of years ago. Now picture the person who made these cuts. No electricity. No power tools, no blueprint drawn on paper, working at an altitude where the air contains 30% less oxygen, where every movement takes more energy, where the cold at night is sharp enough to stop a man from sleeping. And in those conditions, this person produced cuts so precise. Modern laser measurement equipment confirms them to be accurate within fractions of a millimeter. Fractions of a millimeter, with a rock, in the Bolivian highlands. Thousands of years ago. Every engineer who has visited this site says the same thing. They walk up to the stone, they look at the cuts, and they go quiet, because the explanations they know do not fit. When engineers try to reproduce these cuts using stone against stone, they cannot match the precision. Not approximately. Not close. How do you explain that? Now, here is your first question. How do you move a block of stone that weighs 130 tons? 130 tons. The weight of about 20 elephants standing on top of each other. Take a guess at how you move something that heavy. Because the nearest place this stone comes from is a quarry 90 kilometers away. 90 kilometers. Through mountains. Through rivers. Through terrain so difficult that even today it would be a challenge. And the people who did this had no wheels. No horses. No cranes. No machines of any kind. Engineers have done the math. They have calculated how many people you would need. And the honest answer is, we do not know. The blocks do not just sit on top of each other. They are connected, using a system of metal clamps, poured directly into grooves. The metal was melted somewhere, poured into a mold, and used to lock massive blocks together. Metal casting. At a site that history says should not have had metal casting technology. The clamps were analyzed. They are made of a specific alloy, a precise mix of copper, arsenic, nickel and silicon, all melted together at exactly the right temperature. This requires systematic knowledge of how different metals behave. This requires a metallurgical science that was not supposed to exist in Bolivia at that point in history. And yet, there it is. The civilization that built it. The Tiwanaku. A civilization that existed before the Incas. They built one of the most precise structures ever found on Earth, and then disappeared. Not slowly, just gone. The site is aligned with the stars, precisely aligned. The main structures point towards specific positions in the night sky. Puma Punku was not built by humans. It was built in a single night, by beings who came from the sky. This is what the people of that region told the Spanish in the 1500s, written down in official colonial records. Arthur Posnansky concluded that the site was much older than science accepted. Thousands of years older. He calculated it was constructed around 15,000 years ago. At that time, no such civilization should have existed. There is something carved above the gate at Puma Punku, a figure, standing at the center dot, arms out. But here's the detail that researchers notice only recently. The figure is crying tears, carved into stone. Why is a god crying? What happened that was so enormous that an entire civilization carved it forever? The gate is broken. When the Spanish arrived, it was already into pieces, cracked straight through the middle, elongated skulls. Human-shaped, but with a cranial volume significantly larger than a normal human skull. DNA analysis contained genetic markers that did not match any known human population. Something else. Every ancient civilization described beings from the sky. The Sumerians wrote about the Anunnaki. Graham Hancock proposes a civilization existed before history. Advanced. Destroyed 12,000 years ago. Gobekli Tepe, Turkey, 12,000 years old. Massive carved stone pillars, ranged in precise circles. Sacsayhuaman, where stones weighing hundreds of tons were fitted together so precisely. The gate is still there, broken, covered in symbols that have never been fully translated, still standing, still waiting. Tell me in the comments, what do you think built Puma Punku? Subscribe, because we are just getting started. See you in the deep.